Hello readers, today I'm coming to you from a landscape that's very arid, very dry, like the desert, where you find lots of different plants like cactuses or cacti and succulents. This is the setting, the very unusual setting, for our story today based on Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty better be careful not to spike herself. The version of Sleeping Beauty that we're looking at today focuses on the amazing artworks created by the illustrator. The book is called A Story of an Intelligent Sleeping Beauty by Tania Mason. Dedicated to Arthur and Chris. Once upon a time, there was a good king and queen. Oh my goodness, hasn't the artist done a beautiful job? Look at their crowns. They lived very happily in this castle. Then one day, the king and queen had a baby girl. So to celebrate, there was a big party. All the fairies were invited. A big fairy party. The first fairy to arrive was the magical song fairy, who sung all the lovely children to sleep. The second fairy to arrive was the fairy of beauty. I like how the artist has decided not to show us the fairies' faces. They just look like plants. It kind of makes us imagine our own fairies rather than relying on what the artist is showing us. The third fairy to arrive was the fairy of wit. She made everything funny in the world. Your wit is your ability to make jokes and say funny things. Can you see how the artist has used this type of cactus to create the dresses of the fairies? The fourth fairy to arrive was the graceful fairy of dance. She also had great manners. The fifth fairy to arrive was the fairy of intelligence. She was the most important of all. You can see that her dress is made of beautiful flowers that are found in that environment, as well as the cactus. You can see some of the shapes and textures from these plants in the fairies' dresses. It's amazing. But there was one last fairy to arrive, and she wasn't fun. One little bit. Her name was the badly spoken, angry and unhappy fairy, the not nice fairy. The not nice fairy placed a spell on the beautiful, witty, song-singing, dancing, happy and very intelligent princess. The not nice fairy said, "When the intelligent princess is 16 years old, she will touch a spindle and fall asleep for eternity." The fairy said that Sleeping Beauty would only wake up if she experienced true love's kiss. What do you think that means, true love's kiss? Well, true love is someone who genuinely loves you for who you are. So she can only be awoken if someone who truly loves her kisses her. But the good fairies saved the princess and redid the spell, releasing her from eternity to only 100 years of sleep. So the king and queen hid all the spindles until one day the intelligent princess went for a walk and discovered a spindle, of course. She touched it. A spindle is the sharp part on a spinning wheel that you make wool or other fibre from. She touched it and fell asleep for 100 years. When you think of Sleeping Beauty, you do think of a very dense forest surrounding the castle where she slept. But do you think of these kinds of plants? Then one day, many sleepy years later, a handsome prince strutted on by. Ta-da! He looks quite pleased with himself.
Sleeping Beauty didn't fall asleep under this tree.
The handsome prince burst through the forest of thick trees and climbed the castle to discover an intelligent and beautiful princess asleep in a bed of vines, flowers, and wild creatures. The handsome prince lovingly kissed the intelligent sleeping princess, and the spell was broken forever and ever. And they lived happily ever after. What an amazing story and beautiful illustrations. I hope you liked this version, and I hope you liked the arid setting of the story. Let's look at some plants.
Look at this one. It almost looks like there's fruit. The new leaves look like little pears or something. This is a succulent. The leaves are actually quite squishy, and if you open them up, there's like a fleshy stuff inside the leaf where a lot of moisture is stored. This is a cactus. This particular one kind of looks like little hairy men hanging out, having a chat in the evening. You might even have one that looks like this in your backyard, called aloe vera, that we put on things that hurt like sunburn and cuts.
I'll see you next story.